Hey everyone, this is Alex Stryzak, and this is my MPA 560 Week 7 presentation. So a quick overview of what this presentation is going to discuss is when we look at qualitative versus quantitative, we're going to look at qualitative this week, which focuses more on descriptive and conceptual, versus quantitative, which is more counted and measured. So a quick overview of the project that I'm looking at is EDD India Workforce Development Center, which focuses on helping unemployed workers find employment. And my research has been focused on veterans and that unemployment number. But we're going to look at the qualitative possible designs for research in the EDD India Workforce Development Center. So first, let's look at what qualitative design is. And with qualitative design, these are things that are more conceptualized or more descriptive. So for example, like how a cupcake tasted, or when you had a certain experience, how did it feel? What was that expression, that emotion? So for EDD India Workforce, the research that's been done before on this in my research has been quantitative, which is focused on, in Riverside County, out of the workforce, how many of those people in the workforce are not employed, and then taking that number and looking at how many of those not employed are veterans. This is qualitative design, which looks more at, let's say, EDD India Workforce offers classes. This is more the emotional feel that the attendees are getting. This is more how do they feel about the services being offered at EDD India Workforce, and it's more of a feeling versus the actual specific number. So now let's look at what types of research could be done qualitatively with EDD India Workforce. So these are things that could look at, there are classes offered by EDD India that are designed to best assist those that are unemployed to try to find new employment or their first employment to get them out of the unemployed category. So let's say these class surveys are offered after they take the class. So those who do attend can say and if they felt welcomed at it, if it felt like they had fun at the event, or if they felt like they had an intellectual gain from the event. These are all feelings or emotions that they could have from having attended the event. It's not a specific, do you feel that your education has increased by this much percentage? It's, did you feel it was welcoming? Did you feel it was fun? Or did you feel it was educative? And then also it could look into another study of the class difficulty. Was the information provided in the class easy for you? Did it seem hard? What parts of the class seemed easy? Which parts of the class seemed hard? These are all that tips off that this is more of an emotional feeling, and it's not a specific how much did you struggle with. It's, did you feel it was hard? Did you feel it was easy? And this gives feedback as to how the curriculum of the class is going and how the welcoming is, to see if more people would be willing to come and to return as well after they attend a class. So the last thing to look at when studying these qualitative designs or possible information is to look at how we're going to collect the data. And part of the collection process could be through an interview process where after the class is done, there could be someone from EDD India that interviews and asks some specific questions about how they felt about the classes and how they felt about becoming a part of that class and what they got from the experience. This could also be done in a survey if attendees are required to sign up through an email or a phone number or an address. They could be emailed, texted, or mailed a survey to fill out and asked to be sent back that could have the same questions that would be similar to an interview. And then also there'd have to be a content analysis, which looks at the data that is received and can look at where certain things stack up. Maybe one class, you start to do the content analysis, you realize that the hard level is very high. People are finding it very difficult, and there may be an introduction class that needs to be added to that class to make people feel like they learn the easier beginning stuff before they get into that class, as they're viewing it as difficult. But there are validity concerns in that these are all based on what can be considered a bias. This is how an individual feels about the class. If the individual feels it's too hard, that's too hard for that individual. You can notice some trends. If one class is hard to almost everyone that attends, there's a trend that needs to be addressed. but otherwise it's based on an individual bias of previous knowledge, experiences of if you felt welcomed or not can be an individual bias, and the idea of feeling that something was easy or hard could be an individual bias.